Hello humans, it's 1 p.m. Sunday, December 4th, 2016. A quick little discussion here for people that are in the woo-woo business and even the alternative media business in general, as well as what they are calling alt-right media. Google has redone their search algorithms for their presentation of results with the intent of servicing, as they say, sites that have trusted content. Now, I don't want to get into the details of it because it's a huge can of worms when you start getting into Google's algorithms for how they deal with search, how they deal with trusted sites, and all of this other sort of thing. There's a lot of machine learning involved, a lot of expert system stuff that goes on, and they are well within the rights to do all of this. Now, as the premier search engine, quasi-utility, one might say, at a global level, not just merely a country level, they have a certain responsibility to let their audience and especially their advertisers know what's going on. So this particular discussion here relates to anybody that's advertising in what I would refer to as the woo-woo world, which is UFOs, officially denied stuff, totally unknown. Basically, if you're in woo-woo, you know it, and if you don't, and you question whether you are, you probably are. So anyway, if you're in the woo-woo business, you'll notice that, as I have, that the number of people visiting your pages, and therefore any advertising revenue hooked to that page, or any views to the content of that page, and so on, are going to be down. The reason they're down is because Google has redone their search algorithm to service trusted sites, what they're calling trusted news. Their trust algorithms and how they determine this is a very complex subject, not going to be discussed here at the moment. What I wanted to say, though, was that since the abysmal performance of Hillary Clinton in the election, the media and everyone else is casting around blame like mad, and those institutions that are in the blame chain direction are doing everything they can to cover their ass. And so they've decided that alt-right or fake news has got to go. And so what they're doing is they've altered their algorithms for search. Now, Google's response to this is not to ban sites. It's not to even particularly lower your rating in their search engines. Rather, what it does appear to be is that if you're in these particular categories of the alt-right and then the woo-woo, UFOs, officially denied, that sort of thing, which is attached to the alt-right, or if you're into the alternative media, which surrounds both of those areas, you'll notice that your page views are way down ever since the 9th of November. It appears in the last 7-8 days, maybe a little longer than that. Some changes were put into place that tightened it up a little bit. This is the way Google does things. They don't just come on in and flip switches, so to speak. They come on in and ratchet down a little bit, see how it works, ratchet down a little more, see how it works. So they've got their own internal feedback loops to prevent things from getting out of whack. Because they easily could, especially if you're doing a lot of stuff with machine learning and expert system technology that has the potential of just spinning out of control on its own, as they all do. So what they've done in the search engine world is to queue up presentations that favor their version of trusted sources. So in the background, they may be delivering their unfiltered search the way that they would normally do it. And in my way of thinking, what they've done is they've put a display filter on that accommodates their need to service the trusted sources. So you'll notice that in a search that was done prior to the election here in the USA pop, that might have yielded what they consider to be fake news, and it would have popped that up in the first 10, so within the top 10 results, may have included frequently places like Twitter, less so Instagram, Steemit, Reddit, a few of these other social media, the minor social media. And now that same search executed today, and I've done this, I don't have a screenshot of the results from prior to the election, but because of the nature of my work, I have to repeatedly perform searches in order to build up particular kinds of databases, and as a result of which I piggyback on Google. Why should I do it all myself? And as a result of which, I know that these searches have changed. Now, they should change. There's no question about that. A search should change with the frequency of the updating of the Google database that provides the results for that search. However, it shouldn't change so much that 7 or 8 out of the top 10 are no longer there. And that 7 or 8 include the major, minor social media, such as Twit, Reddit, and Steemit. And they're just gone. They're just replaced. So it shouldn't be that wholesale that things should have shifted in this minor period of time of I think it was 48 days, 49 days between these two searches. And the search is innocuous. It's not in an area of a lot of hotbed of activity, but it is in an area, and the search was phrased such that you would bring up the alt-right and or woo-woo sites in the top 50 search results back before the election, and now that's not the case. So if you're in the woo-woo world, if you're in the alt-media world that is in some way linguistically connected to the alt-right, or you've used some of the same words, you may find yourself in a situation where your hits on your page are down appreciably, over 18-20%. And that's so far. And as I say, Google likes to ratchet these things down over time rather than just simply flip a switch when they think the algorithm works. You know, they're not stupid. They want to make sure that this stuff happens in the way that they anticipate before they go full bore on it. Now, they're not stupid, but things get past them all the time, such as their own copyright logo on their own AdWords showing up sometimes and sometimes not. Now that one I've got screen captures on, so I can prove that thing. But like in this last one, the results that used to bring up these sites, Twitter especially, it's gone out of there. In this particular search before election, and then after election, no Twitter. There was even an Instagram in the top 50 in the election. Now none of them. But the real kicker on this is there's also no YouTube. I had 2 YouTube organic results, not ads, but organic results within the second page of this search back before election, and now they don't even appear. So Google is sort of screwing themselves as well, because they own YouTube. So this is just, at least that's my understanding. So that's gone. It's very interesting the way that they did this. As I've been informed, Google is not admitting that they've done anything like this. They've said that they will do this, they're committed to doing it, but they're not talking about any specifics about any of this kind of thing. I haven't gone and talked to Google, I haven't asked them directly, so this is just secondhand information. But the results I've been able to see, Google hasn't said that they've done any of it, but nonetheless I'm able to see it out there. And then I went and I tracked results on my own site, and I tracked results on a number of the legitimate woo-woo site, a site that talks about Mars and UFOs, and their results are way down. And and they were actually a fairly popular Mars and UFO site. And so, among bunches of others that are in the woo-woo world that I have to usually isolate with my own material so I don't get caught up in the stuff that's going on in the fora that are attached to those sites. And so all of these places, their results are way down over the last couple of weeks. And statistically, it's just odd that all of these people in what I would consider an alt-right or attached to the alt-right category find that their search rate response displays are down such that it's this feeding loop, and thus the people searching and finding their site go down. Therefore, the next time you hunt to look for that same kind of stuff, you don't even bother to go at their site because they weren't displayed the first time, and they don't even come up in the search, and so it spirals on down. Anyway, just a bit of warning to the people in woo-woo that may think that they're being tarnished by a very broad brush of fake news, and maybe somebody needs to form a woo-woo union, and go and talk to Google and say, hey fellas, this basically isn't fair. Get your algorithm so it targets people specifically. We're into the big space goat farts kind of stuff and not the alt-right, and therefore shouldn't be hassled by your fake news algorithm, because we weren't echoing the Russians, and we think the Russians are whatever the hell, supported by space aliens, etc., etc., etc. So, or maybe, at the same time that they're dealing with the alt-right, they just decided to shove all the woo-woo guys in there too, just to get rid of them, because they're a pain in the ass. It's difficult to categorize somebody, and some of the belief systems that come out within Google's database and algorithms. So, hopefully just a quick little video here to let you know if you're in the woo-woo business, you need to think about upping your advertising or whatever to compensate for the fact that they're going to basically ratchet down that valve on the search engine results, and your results and your hits and your views and your revenues are going to go down, probably on the order of down to zero if they can do it, because they're trying to eliminate a whole category of websites from the purview of humans, because they don't want humans to have this information. They're scared of words and thoughts. I know, it's really sad. Poor Google. They're very scared of words. They're very scared of thoughts that, are not approved for them by their masters. And, we can't do much about it. They're not really adults. They don't really understand the world in which they're operating. They're simply slaves to their the idea of the corporate mindset, and don't understand what it is to be human. So, but, within those parameters, we can feel sorry for them. And just a quick little video here to let you know we got to deal with this shit.